7-20. BC Investments is care of Walmart. Property owner of 22899 Sussex Highway. Tax map and parcel number 331-6.00-4.01. Is requesting special exception in accordance with section 15-31, number 2 of Municipal Zoning Code to place 10 trailers on a grass area behind the store and 4 trailers in the parking lot on the south side of the store for layaway and seasonal merchandise. There's manager from Walmart here if there's any questions. This is their annual request for holiday layaway storage.
Is this the same number of trailers typically that we approve?
Would you come to the mic, please? Just state your name for the record, if you wouldn't mind.
My name is Jacob Hayes. It's less trailers than we usually get because we are using an off-site warehouse this year. We'll
Okay.
try to eliminate some of them.
I thought it was a little small. Okay.
And so they'll be placed in the same location as traditional?
Yeah, we were requesting the ones in the back, but then some on the side over by the online grocery pickup area of the store. That is for some layaway merchandise. And then also for our .com, because we now dispense all of the pickup merchandise out of the pod area.
Okay. And just to,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Other than the number of trailers, what is the difference between this application and the ones that have been approved in the past?
There's really none except for the 4 trailers on the side of the building.
That's it? Okay.
And just for the record, I'll ask the building official, Mike, have you had any problems with these trailers in past years?
No problems. We don't get any complaints on them, and they're removed after they're done using them. Usually it's before Christmas.
Yeah, I think we usually put a date on them of the removal of like January 15th, but we're usually out of them well before that because it's all Christmas merchandise.
Right. You're permitted 120 days, so you feel confident you can do it within that period of time?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have any further questions.
I have no more questions.
I do not.
Any questions or comments from the public?
Okay, the requested use is one that's permitted by special exception under section 15-31. I find that the conditions have been satisfied, so I'm going to vote in favor of the special exception.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, case unanimous. Thanks again. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike.
All right, we're moving on to the next item is case number V-08-20. Brad Taylor on behalf of TS Property LLC, property owner of 176 Venture Drive. Tax map and parcel 331-5.00-4.22. Seeking a variance from Article 4, Division 1, M1, Light Industrial District, Section 15-50, uses by right to permit a business place of use that will upfit vehicles. Brad is here if there's any questions.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, this is a use variance, so the use by right is not listed in M1 for this specific use that he's asking for.
And just for the record, City Manager, would you explain why this is coming through
Yes.
Board of Adjustments versus Planning and Zoning?
Just for the public, as the building official stated, this is a use variance. So the uses by right listed in an M1 light industrial district do not permit vehicle upfitting. When we reviewed it initially, what Mr. Taylor is proposing to do on this site is permitted in our commercial zone, C2. So this is not a rezoning he's asking for, which would go through the council. This is a variance. Mr. Taylor, would you just mind just describing for the board your business, your hours of operation, what it's going to look like out there and how it'll fit in with the other businesses around it?
Yes, we're a vehicle upfitter, started in 2015. Currently, we're doing it behind my house in a shop. We've outgrown that, and we're looking for property inside of the city limits to, one, I think it's better access for us, and hopefully have some better relations with the cities. Our vehicle upfitting, what we've done is we have several police departments that we take a stock vehicle off of the lot. They bring it to us, we upfit it for their professional needs. We've worked also with Sussex County paramedics. We've had their contract for the past 4 years. And in some things that we've done with them, we're looking to expand with some of the larger manufacturers throughout the country. And we're needing a larger facility with a commercial address to be able to do this.
What are your hours of operation?
Right now, we have all different hours. I'm hoping if we can get somewhere commercial, we'll be able to hire additional staffing and do a primary 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, some weekends. Right now, we'll do emergency calls in the middle of the night. If somebody has something, they've brought it over, we put it inside the shop, we'll fix it and get them back on the road. Our plans are not to have any vehicles sitting outside. Everything we're looking to do would be inside the facility. And if it gets to a point where we need to put something outside, we would look into fencing it off where it wouldn't be seen by neighbors or somebody riding by.
I'm not familiar with vehicle upfitting, so can you tell me what level of noise gets generated that neighbors might hear, or whether there's particles of dust or dirt that fly into
Yep.
neighbors?
The only particles or anything that would fly, it would still be inside if we're cutting a piece of metal or using a grinder. So no more than what you would have at your residential garage. The noise, the most noise you're going to have is a vehicle out there running, and if we're installing a siren on a vehicle, we'll turn it on for testing, but it's a couple seconds here and there. It's nothing that's going to be blasting for 2 or 3 hours straight.
Thank you.
Mike, help me understand where this property is in the industrial park. What's it
It's
near?
in Ross Business Park. It'll be across from FedEx.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions. Does
I don't
anybody
have any
else?
more questions.
I do not either, thank you.
Any questions from the public? Okay, with that, I'll accept
Okay,
the
I'll
motion.
make a motion. The application is for a use variance, and the legal standard for a use variance is whether complying with the code would present an unnecessary hardship, and applying the factors for unnecessary hardship. I do find that it satisfies the requirements for a use variance, so I will make a motion to grant the application.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Good luck, Brad. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Okay, Mike.
All right, we'll move on to the next item is case number V-09-20, RMAB LLC, the property owner of a vacant lot on Shipley Street, as tax map and parcel number 531-13.06-41.00, seeking a variance from Article 2, Division 1, R1, Low Density Residential District, Section 15-15, 1 and 2, area and bulk regulations to subdivide the existing parcel, or existing lot into 2 parcels. Kevin Thorley's here, he's the property owner, and this did get a recommendation to approve from planning and zoning to rezone this to R1, so he's in process on that as well.
Okay.
And Mike, the prior zoning, I'm sorry if you said it was C2?
C2, yes,
C2, so
sorry.
it was commercial, okay.
And your intent is to build 2 small residential?
2 single-family homes, yes.
Okay.
And
For home ownership or for,
Home ownership,
Okay.
we've done other ones in the city so far. The last one we did sold for $210,000. Michael will attest, we do a nice home. It's got granite countertops, it's high level, it's designed for an owner occupant. Yeah, I mean, that's the price range that it's be. It's not gonna be rentals now. They're built for resale. I don't own any rentals.
so the 2 parcels that you would create would be slightly less than the lot frontage?
Currently, the lot is 100 by like 99.81 feet deep.
Okay.
So I've got a survey that was prepared, that each lot will end up being 4,990 square feet with 50 foot of frontage on
Okay.
Shipley Street.
Which would not meet the requirement of 75 feet
Would not
frontage.
meet the requirement of R1, however, this property is surrounded on 2 sides by R3, which if you drop down from 3 to 2, we would be within the realm of that, even though there isn't any R2 in the process. There are also within 2 blocks, probably 18 lots that have a 50-foot frontage already existing on Shipley Street, and then on the street behind it, I don't have my
Phillip Street.
glasses on Phillip Street.
Yeah,
behind there, so-
that development there is populated by quite a few lots that are 50-foot wide. So
Yeah.
it would not be out of the character of
Of-
that
of-
neighborhood,
of
you
the
would say?
neighborhood. And we would be able to meet the rest of the requirements of the R1 zoning as far as lot coverage and setbacks and that type of stuff we will be able to do.
And you referenced it in your discussion, but it borders a commercial property.
It's commercial on, it's on Shepherd Street, it's the vacant lot with the pine trees on it. To the right, or excuse me, to the left is the commercial property, the medical office complex. I think Dr. Lemon, some of the other ones are in there. Then behind it and to the right is the apartment complex and their parking. And then you have R1 across the street. from it.
Directly across the street.
Directly across the street.
Any
I
questions?
do not have any more questions.
Any questions from the public? Okay, if not, I'll accept the motion.
Yes, sir, thank you for the presentation. Again, this is another use variance, and the standard again is whether or not complying with the code would present an unnecessary hardship. Applying the factors under that, I find that the applicant has satisfied the burden that it would be an unnecessary hardship, and therefore I would move in favor of granting the application.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? It's unanimous. Thanks, Kevin. Great job. All right, next, Mike.
This is case number V-10-20. Dontre Bolden, property owner of 718 West Ivy Drive, tax map and parcel number 531-10.17-112.01. He's seeking a variance from section 15-13A 1E, accessory uses in an R1 low-density residential district of the zoning ordinance to have a barbershop business at the above referenced property. Mr. Bolden's here. Please state your name and address for the record.
Excuse me. My name is Dontre Bolden, address 718 West Ivy Drive, here in Seaford, Delaware.
Just give a little background on what you want to do at the
Okay,
property.
I'm sorry. I've been a barber for over 30 years. Sole proprietor all by myself in Maryland. Like I said, for 30 years I've been cutting hair on sole proprietor. So I was renting standard apartments and stuff like that. So what I did was I got my credit situated, and in Maryland the tax is a lot more. So I wanted to come somewhere where it's cheaper, but I didn't have to go that far to work. So and then when all this the coronavirus and stuff like that started, and then it cut my business back. So I got I got rent, and when I bought a house over in Maryland, I got mortgage and rent, sole proprietor, everything cut back. So it was a substantial amount of strain on me and my wife and kids. So I had the room at my house. So I wanted to make it make it a lot easier on myself. And then 2 years ago, a gentleman down the street vandalized my wife's car, egged my house up, bust the windows out. So I want to be closer to home, and I'm still going through the process of this right now. So I want to be closer to home. With my family, my grandson, and just raise them. I feel like it was the best decision for myself to take care of me and my family and my kids. So that's why I wanted to, like I said, I have some pictures here that I might have took, and I'm in the process of, I was putting up a fence at my house, but I don't know if, I explained it to Mr. Bailey one day, and he came out to my house and everything. He knows a little bit. When I submitted my application, I had a letter that I had wrote, that I don't know if you guys ever reviewed it or anything, but that's basically where I am right now.
I'm looking at the application. You proposed just Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the barbershop?
Yes, just Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I figure I don't need a workload like that anymore because I don't have the rent. I'm cutting everything in half. So this just makes sense for me. I'm 47, and working for yourself for 30 years may take a lot of work, and having kids, it was really hard on me. And
Do you
it
anticipate
just makes it
people-
super easy for me.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you anticipate people driving to see you and parking?
Well, I'm just doing appointments. If everything goes situated, I'm just strictly doing appointments. I have clients that, work in the sell cars and at the jail facility, so they gotta need service. So I'm cutting my clientele back significantly so I can just have my mortgage.
Part of the application is for the operation of a barbershop Thursday through Saturday, but then part of the application also mentions the erection of a fence?
Right, because the gentleman down the street, he can see my house. And I really don't, I mean, for safety and stuff like that, I know I might can't, but I figure I'll throw it out there anyway just to see. I'm still going to put up a fence. I had a surveyor come up to the house the other day, and this is my neighbor right here, and we talked about it briefly. And when I first bought my property, the stakes were somewhere out there, so they got misplaced. So, and my, it's gotten, I don't know exactly where it was. So I wanted to come on my side so I won't be on nobody else's. My neighbor, he'd been there about 5 or 6 months. So the prior people that were staying there, we didn't have an issue. Not saying we do, but I had to establish the boundary for my fence. So I think that's why Mr. James is here now. So it looked like it might be a little bit on his side. So I would second opinion for him to get another survey just to be sure. So in moving forward, that's where we are. That's where we are.
Yeah, and just to make a note on the fence, you can do that administratively through our permit office. We're getting a building permit and having the property properly surveyed and corners marked. That's all you have to do for the fence.
Okay.
Just for clarification, the variance is not for the fence?
No, it's only
No
for the
variance is
use.
necessary.
Right,
the
right,
barbershop
understand.
use.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I understand.
And Mr. Bolden, what did you say your hours of operation would be?
My hours of operation, probably Thursdays, I think I wrote it down, it was like from 9 to 5. Fridays from, I think it's like from 7 to 3, and Saturdays 5 o'clock to about 11 o'clock.
11 a.m.?
Yes, before lunch.
So in those days, by appointment, how many people do you think you would see per day?
Well, you figure, you figure 20 to 25 hours a week. That's all I will be working. It could vary every week. It changes because different clients every week, you know. So I'm gonna say maybe 20, maybe 35, somewhere around that area.
Per day?
No, not a day. No.
35 total?
Huh?
35 total in 3 days?
About 35 total, something like that.
Now, right now, as I understand barbershops with the restrictions through COVID, that you have to make appointments. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you intend to continue that for the whole time you were here, if you receive a variance, or when the COVID restrictions lift, are you going to stop requiring appointments?
You said based on the decision here?
Yes, sir. If you're given a variance at this location, would you sometime do away with appointments if the COVID restrictions are lifted?
No, because I'm not trying to add on my workload. I'm just trying to stay steady and pay my bills, man. So.
And the solicitor asked, I think, a few minutes ago, when people come to you, where would they park on your property?
Right in the front.
On the street?
No, right in front of my bay window.
In your driveway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've actually ridden by your house several times to look at it. Because if I remember correctly, your driveway will only accommodate one car, correct?
It's 2.
End to end or side by side?
Side by side.
Side by side, okay. So how many vehicles do you have?
I have 1.
You have one.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be your vehicle and your client
Mm-hmm.
off-street is
Mm-hmm.
what you're predicting.
Did you mention it was 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday? You would start cutting hair at 5 a.m.?
Yes. 30 years.
Who comes in at 5 a.m.?
Man, I've had to get on the clock early and get it over with.
I don't have any more questions. Thank you, sir.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the public? If you'll come up one at a time and state your name and address for the record, that would be great.
Good afternoon. I'm Tylisha Bolden, and I'm Don Trey's wife, address 718 West Ivy Drive.
I can't hear a word by anybody here. I'm not even hearing what's being said, so I don't know how to refute anything that's being said.
Well, let's.
I'm getting nothing out of any of these microphones here, nothing.
Can you hear me now?
Pardon me?
Can you hear me now?
I can?
All right, can we review what we've gone over so far so you're up to speed?
Please.
Okay. He's talking about having operations Thursday through Sunday?
Saturday.
Through Saturday, with hours with hours ranging from 9 to 5, 7 to 3, and then from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., with clients parking in front of his house on his driveway.
All right, I got that.
Okay, that's pretty much all we've talked about so far, about 35 clients he's looking to have in this business. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for saying something. Okay, continue.
Yes, I just want to say, as a wife and having my mother stay with me and my grandson, we're definitely not just looking to have any and everybody come to our home. You know, that's our domain, so safety first. But he has been working a lot, and this move will help him wean himself out of barbering eventually, because that's not something he wants to, do. So that's another reason why, I said, okay, babe, if this works, this is what we'll do. It'll save you money. You won't have to run to Fedelsburg every day and pay all that money. Just keep everything in-house. So I just basically wanted to say that, because it was a scary time when we didn't know who was doing those things at our property, and having to call him, and he's working and he's trying to, like, man, continue to work and then think about home. So that's why he, is really all for that. It's not to have a booming barbershop, people in and out. Oh, no. Okay. Strictly appointment, even when the COVID is over, strictly appointment. I don't want any and everybody coming to my house, any time of day and night. Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question I probably should have asked your husband, and I apologize. Either one of you can answer it.
Okay.
Do you anticipate having any signs or advertising?
No.
Sir, did you hear that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And for another thing, because on that street, I'm sorry, like on that street, a lot of people be speeding around that bend. So if in fact everything goes through, I have a boulder brick I want to set out there, because if heaven forbid somebody jump that curb in my house. So I already got it in place. It's a big boulder brick with with my just my address on it and my last name, just for some security. And like I said, we've been married 20 years, so we pretty stable right now. So I just don't want to lose my business, don't want to lose my home. I just don't want to fall behind. And this is the best move for me and my family.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, sir. Please come up and state your name and address, please.
My name is James Blizzard. I'm at 720 West Ivy Drive, right next door to this gentleman. 10 foot off of his house is my driveway. It's where the door of this barbershop's going to be. 10 feet from my driveway. I've discussed this with him on a couple of different occasions. He seems to be unsure about many things, which is one of my concerns. The fence, the barber shop, his backyard. He's doing bicycle repairs, I believe, in his backyard. He must have 50 bicycles in his backyard. He works on them back there. He's conducting the business back there now. He's got 4 sons. Between him and them, they finish cars in their front driveway. They take cars in there and shine them up, polish them up as a business. We moved into this house, me and my wife. I'm 80 years old. I moved here to retire. I didn't expect to go into a neighborhood, and I'm going to fight to prevent it from being a neighborhood other than neighborhood. That's pretty much my complaints about the whole thing. The fact, again, that his barbershop doorway entrance is 10 foot from my driveway. I guess that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you. You have any questions?
I don't have any. Thank you for those comments, but I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I do not.
Let's let everybody in the public, if they have something, then maybe you can come back up. Does anybody else in the public have something they would? Name and address, please.
My name is Brian Craig. Can you hear me, sir? I live at 715, so I'm just the other side of you on the other way. Mr. Boland's addressed the fact that he is on a curve. There are a lot of vehicles on that side. He does have one, but there are more at the residence, as well as the neighbor across the street from him, which is, you know, it's public parking, so it is. That was one of my concerns. The other one was, if you guys go ahead and give him the variance, and this turns into more than what he had anticipated, or he had thought it might be, so it's busier than it is, or he stays open more, traffic is more, or the problems become more, how difficult is it to take that back? Because I don't mind giving, if a man wants to do his job and he knows how to do it and he does it, you know, potentially, you know, 1% at a time, that's fine. We're okay with that. But if it becomes more than that, then, you know, is it going to be one of those things as well? You agreed to it, and then now we can't take it back. So that's, I need an explanation for that, and as well as, if you guys have been by there, you know the corner, a potential traffic study maybe, but besides that.
Did you want to address
Yeah. Maybe to address your initial concern, traditionally in a variance situation, the board has some latitude and we can control hours of operation. We can stipulate, hours of operation, days of week, number of clients. We can place stipulations on them. Then it's the city, the building official, and the code department that monitors that. If we receive complaints or we see things that don't appear to be in line with that variance stipulation, we work with the property owner to bring it back in line, or they're in violation of the approval, so it can be rescinded. But that's a process that goes through. But does that answer your question on how that might look or work?
It does on how it might work, but not in a matter of a time frame. So if it's like, this is becoming a problem 5 years later, it's still a problem, but we're working on it.
Yeah, you're correct in what you say. That can happen because we get complaints. We have to go run an investigation, make sure it's founded. Then we have to work with the property owner, give them a period of time to reconcile the issue. So yeah, it's an enforcement process. Yes, sir.
I understand that part. That was my major concern, was the traffic problem and his potential right there at the curve. And then that's it. Thanks.
Thank
Brian.
I'm Sharon Drugash. I live at 717 West Ivy Drive. Most of my concerns have been answered. If I remember correctly, a variance, if this is granted, is just for this particular business at this address. If 10 years down the road, the property's sold, the variance goes away. Is that correct?
I'm going to defer to the city solicitor, but it follows the property, does it not?
The variance is granted for it's called a use variance. So if this variance is granted, what the board is saying is that this property can be used in a manner in which is different from what it says in the code and what it says in the application. So
Okay.
it goes with the property, not with the person.
Okay. Not that I anticipate Dontre and Ty leaving us. They're good neighbors. From the way they keep the property, Dontre is very, very proud of his property. And I can't see them letting anything affect that. But I think that's really all the only concern I had.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions or comments? Would you like to come back up to the mic? Okay,
I just want to address one issue, that's all,
sure.
about the bicycles. I do fix on bicycles, and me and my boys, it's to empower some of the kids in the area, in Maryland and Delaware, that, you know, we can do something constructive. You know, just we sand them down, and my kid, we sand them down, fix them up, give them something constructive. What are they going to do right now? They ain't doing nothing. You got to give them something to do. If we don't do what's necessary, the kids lose, we fellas, the game is over. It's bad. They got to do something. That's why I got the bicycles. A lot of good people, I got like 13 or 14 bicycles lined up just like cars behind my house. It's not like they all over the place. Everything is manicured, everything is set up nice and neat. So when the kids come over my house, we pick the bike and just go riding. That's basically it about the bicycles. Okay. And to have me, I lost both my parents at 7 years old. So you figure in 1900, my grandfather, he raised me. So he was already 73 when I was born, so I got those values. My wife and kids, and it's crazy. It warms me up inside, you know. And I wouldn't dare bring anything bad to my property that I work for. No, it hurts to even. I'm just done with it. I'm gonna just put it in God's hand and see what happens, man. That's it.
Mr. Bolden, I have another question for you, if you wouldn't mind. So in this, in reviewing the information you presented, reviewing the zoning ordinance, have you looked at any other locations, commercial locations? Have you worked with the building official to identify any location that's closer to your home for rent in the city of Seaford or near the city of Seaford? Have you done any of that due diligence?
Well, my process was doing it. I had the room home. I had space home. So it just really don't, to me, it don't make sense to have security deposit and rent, electricity too. It's just too much for me. And I'm just trying to cut down what I can cut down and manage what I can manage, make it easy. And I'll probably live half my life, so I'm not trying to work like that anymore.
I mean, my concern with it, just to be honest with you and for the record, is the zoning ordinance specifically states, and I'll quote it, this does not include beauty shops, barber shops, real estate offices, or insurance offices. It specifically calls out these uses as not permitted in a residential district to maintain the integrity of that residential district. That's my concern here, is that this is one that, you know, the framers of this and the writers of this, the council that gave us these laws, specifically said this is not permitted in this zone. So that's the hardship that I have here.
Right, understand. And when I spoke with Mr. Bailey, he said that to me. So I said, well, I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, I'm going to just let faith see what happens. And I just got to do what I feel is right for the best of me and my family. I just figure I'll try. I mean.
So literally, where our house is, 2 doors down, there's the gym. That's where all the traffic comes from, the Pure Fitness gym. So that's a business. It's right there. So that small business, not putting a sign out or anything, you know. I mean, I don't see it attracting, you know, a whole bunch of people because they're only going to know if they have his contact information, his clients that he already has that he's going to, you know. And like I said, this isn't a 15-year thing. This is a move that he wants to make to better the family, cut the costs. And eventually, it's not something that, unless the boys decide they want to do it, but they may move away. So this is just, you know. But the bikes, it's not a business. He just does it. We're not selling bikes. We're not having kids come over every day, get a bike. If he see a kid doing good and they want a bike, he'll give them a bike. But it's not like a business, and he likes to buy bikes. We like riding bikes together. It's a hobby, exercise, something for the kids to do, as he said. I think that's it, babe.
And I appreciate what you said too. In your consideration, like I said, and I know some of my nephews and stuff, they come over and they park on the side of the road, so I understand. I mean, why there might be a concern, so that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Okay.
Thank you. I will make a motion, but I would like to make some thoughts about the reason for my motion and my vote. This application presents issues that we face sometimes, and that is that the applicant has made an application for a use variance, and that there is some opposition by the neighbors. And it involves competing rights. The neighbors have rights. You have the right, Mr. Blizzard, to the quiet enjoyment of your property. Mr. Bolden, your other neighbors have rights to the quiet enjoyment of their property. What the code and the law allow is that if the applicant satisfies the conditions for a use variance, the applicant has rights too. So if we find that you have satisfied the standard for a use variance, you do have that right. So with that said, and we've gone over the standard for a use variance, that it would have to be, we would have to find that if you use the property consistent with what the code provides, it would present an unnecessary hardship for you. And in making that analysis, we go through certain factors, including whether or not your use of the property is consistent with the character of the land, and consistent with the way the locality, your neighbors are using their property. So for me, this is a very difficult decision. As Mr. Anderson pointed out, if the code wasn't drafted in such a way to specifically prohibit this, it would be an easier decision for me to say, yes, I think this is unnecessary hardship, and I think the use is consistent with the land. The difficulty I have is that if your application is granted, it creates a precedent, and that future applicants who want to use their property in this zoning district for the type of use that you want to, we would in some cases be required to grant that because we will have granted yours. So that is a concern for me, that we would be creating a precedent that would be different from what the code provides. So that's what I'm thinking also. That being said, I think your situation presents very unique circumstances, which I hope would not create a precedent. I heard what your neighbors had to say. The use is restricted to certain days, certain hours. And so although it's a very difficult, a very close call for me, and I could see it going either way, I'm going to make a motion to grant the use variance conditioned upon the hours you mentioned, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and understanding that there will be enforcement issues if they are not complied with. So, like I said, it was a very close call for me, but I'm going to make a motion to grant the application.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. We will ask you, and I know you will, based on your character of what you said, be very cautious of your neighbors and respectful of them. This is, we understand what you're going through and what you're trying to do, but with respect to your neighbors, we want to honor them as well. Okay? Okay, thank you. Any other business for the board?
That's all.
Okay, with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll
So
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Good. Yes, thank you.